So as some reminders to start out with, please pay your $20 dues to our treasurer Rithik on Venmo. If you haven't already, you can have his Venmo there. We'll also send it out in the group me as well after the meeting is over. And if you weren't here at last week's meeting, if you are unable to like pay through Venmo, if you don't have Venmo, if you'd like to pay through another method, then you can either reach out to me or our other co-president Pamela, and we'll work out another payment method for you. Also, please be sure to add the ESG Google calendar to your calendar so that you have access to our schedule. As we are planning events, we'll be adding them to there. And then if there's any virtual events, you can also find the link directly through the Google Calendar. And I'll also be able, I'll also send out that link again after this meeting is over. And you also do need 4 points this semester. So again, 1 in research, 1 in advocacy, 1 in education, and 1 in service. And if you were a member who joined prior to this semester and you didn't make up all of your points last semester, then you will have to make up the missing points in addition to your 4 points for this semester as well. So also just some announcements to start out with. So CARE, Care to Stop Violence, they are an organization here at the University of Maryland. If you've been in ESG before, you've heard a lot about CARE. But for those who are new members to ESG, CARE helps deal with survivors of power-based violence. So things such as sexual assault, relationship violence, sexual harassment, and stalking. Many of our members actually have served in the peer programs. I myself was a peer educator. Our social chair, Sabrina, she is currently a peer educator. Pamela, our co-president, was an outreach peer. And our previous treasurer was also a peer educator. So again, a lot of people have participated in these programs. I highly recommend this. It's really nice for building a community with other people, and you get a lot of experience with public speaking. And depending on what you're doing, you also can get experience with like running tabling events and participating in various health education things. There is a class component that goes along with it as well. So depending on your major, you can also get elective credit for participating in these programs. And you can also go on to get a job working with them. So I'm not particularly sure for the outreach and peer advocates, but I know for peer educators, once you've completed the peer educator program, you can continue on for another semester and get paid to give presentations. And so that's something that I did. And so yeah, the applications for that are due by March 4th. So you can scan the QR code there. You can also go to the University Health Center website and just type in CARE, and they'll have like the link to the application there. And so I highly recommend checking out more about the different programs, especially if you are someone who is really passionate about power-based violence and things of that nature as well. So there's also a research opportunity. So the University of Maryland Strategic Partnership is sponsoring a summer 2022 research project. So you would work with the University of Maryland Baltimore professor, Dr. Dan Mullins at the School of Pharmacy. So this is a community engaged research project. So it is a 10-week program, 400 hours student internship, and you do get a $5,000 stipend that is released in, I believe, about 3 installments over the course of the program. The application deadline is March 1st, which is a week from now. I'll also be sending out a flyer with more like comprehensive information about this opportunity, as well as the link to where you can apply. So you can find that through the listserv and the group me after this meeting is over, and you kind of read into more details about the specific opportunity. So we have a social event announcement. So we will be doing a virtual Cards Against Humanity night, or I guess not really night since it's during the day, but so this will be this Sunday, which is February 27th from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. And this event will take place over Zoom, and the link will be sent out later this week. This is something that we've done pretty much like every semester so far, and it's usually a lot of fun. So I highly recommend coming and participating. So for a points update, so for advocacy specifically for those who were here last semester, you remember how for advocacy points, you could participate in other events related to health advocacy. And these events were not hosted through us, but rather through other University of Maryland organizations, especially in the School of Public Health. And so we're going to bring that back to where you can participate in these other events to get your points for the advocacy point. So the events that count for a point will be announced each week as they are announced to the campus community. And we'll be posting those in the GroupMe and through the listserv. So we will also likely have some point opportunities that will be related to specifically to our health education campaign. But we also just wanted to make it easier for you guys to also have the opportunity to attend outside events to get that advocacy point as well, especially since I know that there also might be some members who did not receive their advocacy point last semester who need to make two for this semester.
And then in terms of points for education, research, and service, we'll have those details more into depth as we start planning our campaign. But essentially, those are basically doing the research for the topic that we have chosen, and then you'll be able to create a certain post for it. And then the service aspect will also mostly ties into the fundraising, but outside of that, we'll announce that. And then in terms of the advocacy point opportunities, there's a Universitas 21 Health Research Exchange event, and it's on this Thursday from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. on Zoom. In order to receive your advocacy point for this event, you will have to take a screenshot of you being in the Zoom meeting, and then you can email it to our epsilonesg@gmail.com. And then we also have the Tulsa Race Massacre virtual panel, and that is on March 4th. It's a Friday from 1:30 to 3 p.m. again on Zoom. This was highlighted on the SPH website, so they have more information as to the event and how, basically the details more so on why the panel is being held. And again, you have to take a screenshot that you're in the meeting and email it to epsilonesg@gmail.com.
I also just want to add really quick for this one, they haven't actually posted the registration link yet for the meeting, but they said that it's going to be coming soon, so you can access it once it's announced at that link on there specifically. So you just have to scroll down to the last event and click on that.
And all of these links will update you all in the GroupMe. So if there happens to be that you didn't receive the link, always direct message me or Riley, and we'll be sure to get it to you. And in terms of big and little weeks, sorry. We have weeks in which we try to pair up upperclassmen and lowerclassmen within ESG. So those who joined last semester and those who are new this semester and getting to know each other. And you will actually be joining through our IG account. So we'll have a series as bigs who are, acting as characters on there. And then you'll be, as the littles, you guys will interact with the bigs with questions or any type of topics that they come up with that may be of interest to you. And then at the end of that, you guys will have your top 3 bigs, top 3 littles respectively, and we'll try to match up and see who's most consistent or who are most attachment in that. And so the topic of our campaign, the voting was really close in terms of needing a tiebreaker, but essentially we came down to substance use and abuse. And just to remind you all, this is only legal and semi-legal substances that will be eligible for us to focus on. And our focus population is college-age students, especially within the University of Maryland community, and graduate students are acceptable as well. Okay. And we have a list of substances that are eligible for research on it: alcohol, nicotine, those found in cigarettes and e-cigarettes, marijuana, and caffeine. And if you have any questions on others, be sure to DM me or Riley. So in terms of our education topics, we need to do the education portion that's more so geared for college students. And so today we're going to go through a brainstorming session with each other in our breakout rooms on specific topics that you might want to do. And so examples like for alcohol, the definition of binge drinking could be a singular post on that, just to get a kickstart on the campaign. So yeah, ideally you want to think of what would you like to see if someone were, posing the campaign to you. So try to look that throughout your whole research, sorry. And if you're tasked to educate college students, how would you go about in terms of like the verbiage and the language that you would create your posts in? And please try to be as specific as possible. And there isn't a cap amount on the amount of ideas that you come up with. The more the merrier. And I'm sure like you guys can come up with ways that you can integrate your ideas together to become one in some way. And we will use everyone's ideas to formulate the structure of our campaign also. So your input is of great use. And so now you'll be assigned to your breakout rooms. And you guys will all open a shared Google Docs. One of you can create it and then share it with the rest of the members. Start adding your ideas together. And I would also share it to the Epsilon ESG email so that we can see it as well. And your breakout room number corresponds to your group number. So at the top of the document, just be sure to write your group number. And each group will be working on all substance options. So.
Oh, Pamela, we already made Google Docs for them to use.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So you guys don't have to make a new one. We already have like pre-made ones, and then I'll send out the links to those in the in the Zoom chat. I'm so used to saying the GroupMe. So just make sure to check your breakout room number, and that'll correspond to like your group number. So if you're breakout room 1, you'll be group 1. So when you're clicking on the links in the Zoom chat, just make sure you click on the one that corresponds to your group number. And Pamela, do you want to make the breakout rooms, or do you want me to make the breakout rooms?
I can try to make it.
Okay. So I'll send out the links now while she is making the breakout rooms.
So everyone should be assigned to a breakout room. You can join in.
All right, we have 4 docs, Pamela. I just thought you made 5 rooms.
I'll swap everyone out. Okay. All right, cool.
How are you guys doing?
Busy
Yeah.
day.
Busy? Pamela, you're in the
I'm
car.
literally in my car.
You just get out of work?
Yeah.
That happens sometimes.
Yeah. I thought I could stay in later, but they're like, no, we have to close up today earlier.
Oh, well. You know what? That's the beauty of Zoom, is that if you need to do it from your car, you can.
Yeah.
So how are things?
Yeah,
Do we
I like
get?
my
Looks like we have a
internship.
good core group of people today.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We had a good amount.